Out in front now, here's Tonelli, the rebound, and it is covered up by Lindmark, and he holds. Now Bourne pushing and shoving with Thomas Sandstrom right in front of the net. This is this young player who they think is going to be the next Swedish superstar. He belongs to the New York Rangers. And there's John Tonelli. What you call a mucker in this game. He does the work. Pretty good offensively. Great two-way player for the New York Islanders. Very tough.
Sandstrom, he's impressed me tonight, Thomas Sandstrom. He's had a few good opportunities to score on goal, and he's a tough, aggressive player. He might be another pick for the player of the game for Sweden.
You know, a few of the fans who watched our Olympic coverage on CTV back in February might remember the name Peter Gradin. He was not even invited. Hit the post. Bork let that one go. Just to finish the thought, he was not invited so much as invited to the Swedish camp, which is an interesting development. Now out in front is Bourne. The puck deflects away from him, and out comes Sweden now. Håkansson drifting it in. Wide of the net. Naslund picking it up along the boards. Around behind the net. Knocked down by Bork. Cleared to the blue line. Kept in there by Eriksson. Moving in also is Bourne. Lowe's back there with him. And it's shoveled to the corner on this side. Bork loses it there as Naslund goes to the backhand. Shot, rebound. Naslund's still there, but Peters is too. And he covers it up.
Naslund's had a number of good opportunities tonight. He's been playing quite well. He gets the puck in front on his backhand. Pete Peters stays down low and keeps his feet on the ice to make a good save. But Naslund, good scoring opportunity.
Well, Naslund's third shot on goal in this hockey game, and Sweden has had 18. Nobody on Team Sweden with more than two, except Naslund, who got his third right now. Coming into the period, nobody with more than two. A good balanced attack. And batting on it there is Peters. He had to step out and get it again. Cleared to the blue line, but not out as Anderson shoots it in. Behind the net now. And Messier against the far boards. Pops it off the boards. It's Poppy. Messier over now. Center ice is Stastny. Stastny cutting it over the line now. Stastny into the corner. Rolls it out in front. Nobody there to get it as Messier was cruising around. Now Messier to work it free. Staying out at center ice now. Nielsen to the line. Fakes the shot. Drops it off. Nice play. The shot is wide of the net. Taken there by Håkan Loob. And behind the net. Team Canada ahead. Center ice now. Messier had to handle that puck at the line. Lost possession. And it's Loob at center ice with Wilson. Wilson loses it and trying to cut through the defense and not able to get through was Gradin. Robinson now. Here he comes at center ice. Robinson feeding it off on the wing now to Messier. Messier shooting it. And again, the defense covered up, and it wound up deflected up into the crowd. 5 minutes and 11 seconds gone here in the third period. And there you see
it in front to block the guy from coming out. They're going for a good shot on goal here.
And Gretzky to take the draw. And the Swedes, of course, realize what Canada hopes to do with that alignment. So they have lined up in their own way to defense that sort of thing. And you see the encroachment in the face-off circle, which is causing the delay in the start of play. Now here's Wilson at the blue line. His shot is deflected. They're getting on the point pretty quickly. Robinson trying to keep it in. And the Swedes bring it out. At center ice, leading the rush is Sundstrom. Sundstrom over to the line, and he cleared it to an open wing. Goulet comes back. Goulet overskated it. Now he's got it. Clears it to the line, and he cleared the line. And is offside. So we get another face-off. There's Thelin. He'll join Boston after the Canada Cup and will become, if he makes the Boston Bruins, the first European ever on that team. Very physical player. Although I'll tell you that Thelin, the other one, number 5, is really physical. About as physical a Swedish defenseman as I've ever seen. But again, we're seeing some developments with the international hockey they're playing over on this side of the Atlantic. The game is beginning to change a bit in Sweden. There's a lead pass intended for Gretzky. Out of his net is Lindmark. Bossy's in there, cleared into the slot. Bouncing puck, but it's knocked away. Out to center ice once again. Now moving up is Eklund, but he is unable to get to it. Turning is Bossy. Bossy with Gretzky now. Bossy ahead. Wilson moves up the shot. He golfed it wide. Didn't get full wood on that. And winds up in the corner. Canada starting to forecheck a little better. Eklund clearing it out to center ice, and Wilson's got it. Much of this period has been played in the Swedish end, but Canada hasn't had the chances. Now here's Klesson. He had to wait for a mate to get onside. Now clears it over the line for Eklund to Klesson. Klesson couldn't hold it as he's checked by Wilson. Goes in against the boards. That's a tough sledding inside that blue line. Eklund got a shot away there at the side of the net. It's still Eklund. Eklund cutting out in front. Now clears it across. Wilson made the check. Right in the shot. And that is covered there by Peters, and he holds on for the face-off. 6:25 gone in the third period. Still 3-1 Sweden.
Sweden continues to use the body. They're finishing off their checks. They have an opportunity to go in on a Team Canada player. They do not turn away. I think that's one of the things that they've improved in their style of play. Before, they would always kind of stick check, afraid to take the body, maybe a little timid. Not so much tonight.
Canada out shooting Sweden just 22-21 now, so Sweden has had more shots in this period. Anderson shooting it in deep. Bork's out of the net. There's going to be a penalty called, I believe, against Team Canada. That was a penalty they could ill afford to take. And I think it's Kevin Lowe again.
Kevin Lowe was standing in front of the net with the Swedish player. He hooked his stick underneath his arm, gave it a little tug, and the referee was standing right there to call him. Now, if Sweden gets a goal here, it's going to be a long row to hoe for Canada for the rest of the hockey game.
Penalty to Team Canada, number 4, Kevin Lowe, 2 minutes for tripping at 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
6:31 actually the time of that penalty, and Kevin Lowe is off. Gustafsson out there along with Mats Naslund. Also up front is Per-Erik Eklund. And your point men, number 7 is Eriksson. Eldebrink, number 3, Gustafsson. From the face-off, Canada takes over. It's Bork, the penalty killers. Bork working with Randy Gregg. There's a dangerous pass by Lindmark. Kept inside. Sweden trying to work it out. Good job there by Bourne. Bourne just brings it out to center ice now. Bourne turning through center ice. Comes back now. Ducks past, or at least tries to duck past Eriksson. Now it's taken away again. Over the line now. Backhand shot by Bourne. And it's kicked away by Lindmark. Out comes Eldebrink at center ice. Carrying the puck for Sweden. He gets it over the line for Naslund. Eldebrink in front, and he's knocked down by Bourne. Now Naslund back in for Eldebrink. At the side of the net now. Eldebrink just standing back there. Gives it to Gustafsson. Back out to Naslund. Naslund shot. Knocked down by Peters. And the rebound comes to Sutter. And he feeds it down the ice off his backhand. Lindmark way out of his net now. Back with it for Sweden. Bo Eriksson ahead for Naslund at center ice now. Naslund coming in over the line. Naslund stopped, and Gretzky has the puck. He spun around. Still inside the blue line. Naslund feeding it in. Gretzky goes in after it, being checked by Gustafsson. On this side, Anderson moves in, clears it behind the net. Gustafsson's there. Sweden has made a change. Now clears it against the boards. Nielsen back out to the blue line. Eriksson back to Nielsen to Eriksson. Now here's the shot. It's right on. Cleared away. Nielsen turning. Nielsen checked on the play. Robinson shooting it to the line, but he can't get it out. Eriksson clears it in deep again. Stayan is there. Stayan to Nielsen. To Eriksson. Eriksson shot. Glove save. Peters. He holds for the face-off with 19 seconds remaining in the power play.
Well, nice save by Pete Peters. The Swedes like to put their defenseman in the center of the ice area to draw the forward out and take a shot. They always have a couple guys going for the front of the net to either tip it or to screen the goalie.
I think that was deflected, which made that save by Peters even more remarkable. Good glove save. 19 seconds left in the Kevin Lowe penalty. Time is becoming a factor for Team Canada with 11:47 left. Sweden has now taken over on the shots clock at 24-23. The result of the power play advantages they have had in this period. Here's a shot that's wide of the net. Angle covered by Peters. Out along the boards to center ice now. Backhanded along Gradin. Sundstrom. Shot in again by Telvin. along the boards and out near the line now. It's cleared along for Sutter. Sutter dropping it back. The penalty is over. In over the line now is Bourne. Bourne backhanding it to Sutter in the corner. Sutter back behind the net. There's Telvain. Telvain checked in against the boards along with Sutter, and it's held there, and they'll get the face-off deep in the Swedish zone. 3-1 the score. Sweden leading. This is Labatt's Canada Cup.
80 goals a year. We need goals right now.
Well, he has not been his dominant self in this series so far, and that is again getting his skating legs, I think, in this series after the short training camp.
Well, that, and he had a little touch of the flu or food poisoning the last couple of days. He seems to feel he's over it, but I don't know, anytime you have anything like that, it just doesn't, you just don't go back to normal.
Gretzky in front. Goulet fanned on it. Again, that lack of sharpness, the lack of finish coming through right there. Good play. It was made by Gretzky, but he just couldn't get it to his man. And it's cleared out in front. Gretzky shoots it. It's loose in front of the net again, but he was in too close. There was no way they were going to get that by Lindmark, who went down on the play. Now inside the zone, it's cleared back out to center ice and Lowe. Lowe turning with it is Gustafsson. Cleared it back in again. Back there is Bork. Bork, that long lead pass at center ice now. Cleared ahead for Gretzky. Gretzky with Bossy moving in. The flip pass, and it's deflected to Bossy. Bossy in against the boards. They try to work it out in front. Bossy's after it again. Bossy trying to cut through the traffic, and it's cleared out to center ice. Here's a break. Stayan going over the line now. Stayan getting set to the side of the net. Rolls it. It hit the line. The Swedes think they got a goal. Out in front now. Here's the break. Down over the line is Anderson. He shot it wide, and he is knocked down on the play, and there's going to be a penalty.
Well, the Swedes are arguing that puck went into the net. The lake did not go on.
Well, I want to see that one. It hit down on the line. That's as close as I could see, but I don't know whether, in fact, when I saw it, here it is. Let's take a look at it. Watch closely right at the line. Whoa.
It's hard to tell there. Pete Peters had his pad in front of it. Whether or not it went over the line or not, you couldn't tell. Here's Team Canada coming back on a breakaway, and Sweden takes a hooking penalty on Anderson, who was in all alone.
Canada argued for a penalty shot there. I cannot go along with a penalty shot. It was not quite as clear-cut as
2 minutes for
Canada would like.
Well, Canada's had 6 power play opportunities already.
All right, watch the line now. Now you can't see there. Well,
that's been the story in the game. Canada has had 6 opportunities for a power play on a power play and haven't scored. Here's a big chance to get back into the hockey game. There's only 9 minutes and 52 seconds left.
All right,
let's go down to Eddie.
Okay, Eddie.
Down here at ice level, of course, the Team Canada tries to pick things up. What is sometimes called a subdued crowd here in Vancouver, by no means tonight. They have been in behind Team Canada throughout this whole hockey game, and of course, they're trying to get them going.
Well, the last time Team Canada played a game in this building back in 1972, and they were roundly booed. As that what prompted the Phil Esposito outburst, and then Canada moved on from there to win that series. Here's Coffey's shot. It's right on. Into the corner it goes. The power play is on. Wilson back out to the point for Coffey. Anderson to Wilson. Wilson looking for a man in front. Rebound in front. His shot, and it's wide. Messier had a great chance, and he just missed the open side. The puck is cleared down the ice. 1:39 left in the power play as Coffey turns in his own zone. Ahead. And it's stolen inside the line and unable to get loose there as, I believe, coming back was Bork to intercept there against the boards. Now Sundstrom trying to get loose against Anderson. And now Bork over for Messier. Messier shooting it around the glass. Getting it is back to the point. Here's Bork. Bork over now. Clear track for a shot. Right on. Loose puck. And it's cleared away again. Lindmark's upset about something. Perhaps the traffic in front of the net. It was batted ahead, and it'll be called for a face-off deep inside the zone. Lindmark, the goaltender, having words with referee.
Team Canada continues to put a guy right in front of the goalie Lindmark to try to screen him or to get him off his game. Coffey had a good shot from the point there, and the goaltender Lindmark was right back in on the line. I don't think he saw the puck. It hit his pad and kept it out.
1:01 remaining in the power play. Canada trailing by 2 here. They almost have to score. All right, watch Messier at the top of the crease now and doing a pretty good job. And he's in the crease there. That could be called goaltender interference or goal crease interference.
Well, he has something to complain about, that's for sure.
All right, Messier's out there along with Goulet and Bossy and Coffey and Gretzky on the point. Gretzky is playing the far point. Another face-off. Goulet goes after it in the corner. Eriksson in there. They'll try and freeze the puck, but they can't. It's back to the point now. Here's Coffey. Coffey getting it over. Gretzky passes it off, and it's intercepted, and Naslund brings it out. Naslund in center ice. Naslund circling back, drops it off for Eriksson, who carries it down to the Team Canada zone. Coffey trying to get it ahead, forcing it through traffic, and it was intercepted by Naslund. Coffey will try again. 36 seconds remaining in the power play. Around the board, Goulet going in against the boards now. Goulet pinned in there. Bossy's in there as well. It's clear behind the net. And it's Sweden clearing it up into their own bench, and so it'll be called for a face-off in the Swedish end with 23 seconds left in the power play.
Well, Mats Naslund has been doing a great job of killing penalties tonight. The two Swedish forwards are going right back deep into their own end to pick those cross passes off that Gretzky tried there. They're picking them off and getting the puck out of there. It's a good penalty killing.
Sweden out shooting Canada in this period by a 10-6 margin. Face-off will be in the Swedish zone. Messier against Goulet. Or at least Messier with Goulet out there. Coffey moves in now from the point, and Bossy fades back. They'll try and get it to Coffey. That quick two-way play. If they can make it, they do. To Coffey. Over to the far side now for Gretzky. Gretzky, his shot into a crowd. He shot it high off Goulet. In against the boards. Goulet gets it again. Tries to tap it in front. Here's a shot. They score! Coffey!
All the Team Canada players are off the bench. That was a big, big goal for Canada at this point of the hockey game.
Coffey just chipped it over the goaltender, but it was a nicely thought-out play.
Coffey comes all the way in from the blue line. Watch where he comes in from. He sees the opportunity, bats it down, and just whacks at it.
Bouncing puck. And it looked like he got off the top of the handle or something, but it chipped it over top.
We mentioned earlier how Lindbergh goes down a little bit. There he drops to his knees. The puck just chips over into the net. Big goal for Team Canada.
Goulet and Bossy draw assists on it. Well, now listen to this crowd. Here it is again. You can see the chip shot on the bouncing puck, and he picked the corner. Well, they needed a break, and I think they got a little bit of one there.
Well, they've been working hard for it, and let's hope this turns things around for them.
Scored by number 77.
And with 10 seconds left in the power play, and here comes Doug Wilson to center ice now. Wilson with that long drifting shot. The rebound comes out. It's a chance for Canada. They shot it just wide. It was Sutter who was parked in front. Out in front again, and it was cleared away. Canada trying to keep the pressure on is brought to center ice by Sundstrom. Sundstrom to Gradin, and he's offside. Well, we'll have a face-off outside the blue line. 3-2. Sweden leading Stikavall for Team Canada. 7:34 left in the hockey game.
You can sense the adrenaline flowing here and that they're going to come back.
Eriksson clearing it in. Peters leaves it for Bourque. Bourque deep in his own zone, starting out now for Canada. Bourque ahead. At center ice, Messier couldn't handle it. Now it's Anderson chipping it in there. A bouncing puck is picked up by Lindmark. He collides with his own man. And we'll have a face-off in the Swedish end. Anderson was right in there. There you see him. Well, you can hear the crowd.
Well, Team Canada must win this game or else they'll be facing Czechoslovakia the next game in a game that they're gonna make the playoffs or not. So
Sweden has been very, very impressive tonight. This is not a fluke, the score you see on that screen. They have fully earned it. Now at the side of the net. Around the boards, it is cleared by Taylene, kept in. Now Anderson cutting through traffic, and he got a quick shot away, and it quickly steered into the corner by Lindmark. Out at center ice once again. Now Bourque clearing it in. There was a player trapped inside the blue line, so the offside is called. We'll have a face-off in the center ice zone. This is
Sweden can't afford to sit back and try to relax and rest on this lead. They got to try to get a little offense going here if they can. You know, Team Canada, the pressure they're under right here to get a goal, and they're going to try to go for it.
Well, we've got Gretzky out there with Bossy right now. Bossy deep in his zone now. And they get loose. He's got the puck. Rink wide pass. Comes Canada trying to get out of the zone now. They're forechecking well. Is Sweden out of center ice now. That pass and it hopped over Goulet's stick and then Gretzky's. And we'll get the icing call. So back into Canada territory for the face-off. As we look there at Thomas Eriksson, and we look there at the coach who's got a lead in the third period here in the Pacific Coliseum. Leif Bourque. They played such a terrible game against the United States out in Halifax to open this one. And I say terrible because the result, in the early going, Sweden played very well. They were beaten by Tom Barrasso, the goaltender, early, and then they seemed to quit. And I asked Mats Naslund about it, and he said, yeah, I think you might be right in that assessment of the way we played. Oh, there's a giveaway right to the side of the net, and then it rolled off the stick of Nielsen. There's no quit in this Swedish team tonight. Lou, now to Bossy, ahead. Off the stick of Goulet as he tried to break over the line. Gretzky overskated it at center ice, and Nielsen shoots it back into Team Canada territory. Wilson, that lead pass for Gretzky. Well, he couldn't hold it. Now Bossy moves up. Bossy to the line, and it's checked off his stick, and it's back into the Team Canada zone again. Robinson goes back to touch it. Icing called, and we'll have a big face-off down in the Swedish zone with 6:07 remaining.
That 3-2 loss Sweden had to Russia the other night, I think that maybe proved to them that they could play in a series such as this. They had a great game. I talked to the players, and they thought that they even deserved a point or maybe even a win out of it. And I'd give them the lift going into tonight's game, and they've sure played well.
You know, we're talking about Labatt player of the game. That fellow right there hasn't played a bad hockey game. He has made a couple of great outlet passes from his own zone and led to one goal, the goal scored by Bossy. And he's been very steady back there. We may have disagreed with the selectors the other night, and so did Larry, may I say, when they passed up Doug Wilson to give it to Larry. Tonight, I think I'd probably look at Robinson. I don't know about you, Darryl.
Well, he's played well, and he did make a great pass to Mike Bossy. He spotted him a rink-wide pass right on the money.
Bourque deep in his zone now. Bourque to Lowe. Lowe to Gartner. Gartner backhanding it in. Hustling in after it now is Sutter. Sutter in against the boards, being checked. Still in the crowd. Tonelli trying to get loose. He's being held there, but good job being done by Sundstrom. The fans think there should be a penalty on it, and they're going to toss two of them. Well, as they both go up, we'll take another break. This is Labatt's Canada Cup on CTV.
Well, Mike Gartner was in front of the net, trying to get in position to get a shot away. Their defenseman was sticking his stick between his legs, grabbing hold of his stick, and out of frustration, Gartner retaliated a little bit, and they both went off for penalties.
Anderson, 2 minutes for holding.
This 4-on-4 will give Gretzky a little more room out there to skate around. And you know what he can do in a one-on-one situation, so let's see what he can do if he can create some offense here.
Well, we've got a little bit of it out there, and here's back to the blue line now. Along the line now, it's dropped off by Lowe for Bourque. The shot, fakes the shot beautifully, gets it in front. Oh, and rolled off the stick. What a great opportunity, and he just couldn't get the shot away as Bob Bourne was alone in front of the net. There's the long drifting shot from center ice, Bourque. Clears it out to center ice. Knocked down by Taylene. He shoots it back in again, and here's Kevin Lowe for Bourque. At center ice, overskated it momentarily. Bourque fighting off a check. Gets it back to Lowe. Lowe at center ice, over the line he comes. Lowe fading to the boards now. Clears it around the boards. Gretzky turning. One-hands it past Naslund. Checks it free. Puck is still deep in the zone. Taylene finally shoots it out to center ice. Now Randy Gregg getting it ahead for Gretzky. Gretzky fighting off a check. Cleared into an open wing. And it's Naslund. At center ice, just stops at center ice, then fanned on it. Very casually handled that puck. It's cleared back in again. There it's Tilbane, and he touches it, and it's called. We'll have a face-off on the icing down in Team Canada territory. 4:25 left.
Team Canada just hasn't been able to finish off their chances. They've had the chances here, and there was an opportunity where Bob Bourne swung around to take a backhand. He didn't get anything on the puck. It slid into the corner.
Well, the work ethic is there. You can't complain about that. It is just that as we've mentioned, you used the word a number of times, that the edge is not there. We've seen this before with Canadian teams that have gone into this time of the year, the competition. Here's a shot by Telbane off the handle of Peters' stick. Now against the boards. Coffey trying to one-hand it out of the zone, was unable to. Gregg now has got it. Gregg to Coffey. Coffey out to Messier. Messier at center ice in full flight along with Randy Gregg. Trailing on the play is Anderson. Now Messier behind the net, overskated it. Anderson's after it behind the net. Now Anderson looking for a man in front of him. Get it to him. Rolls it in front. There's going to be a penalty. And it is picked up. The penalty is going to go to Team Canada. Sweden coming out at center ice now. It is stopped and Anderson shoots it back in. And Canada is going to draw a penalty that is just an awful one to take in the offensive zone. With 3:51 left.
I missed that there. I thought the penalty was going to Sweden on a hooking penalty in front of the net.
Well, we're still looking to see where the penalty came. There's the shot. What a great effort by Anderson. He's knocked down. The penalty is being called on Randy Gregg, who is trailing on the play and apparently ran some interference.
To number 21, Randy Gregg. 2 minutes for cross-checking at 16:09.
I'm still looking for the penalty, and I haven't seen it yet. Well, that penalty with 3:51 left. All right, let's watch the left of the frame now. Watch Gregg. There it is. He knocked him down. So they called it. That's it.
Well, that's a costly penalty at this time of the hockey game with only 3 minutes and 51 seconds left. The Swedes going to have a 2-minute advantage here.
Well, what do you do? When you're down by a goal, do you put every offensive player you can find? Your two offensive defensemen? Well, they got Wilson out there who can shoot the puck. They've got Bourne out there, Messier and Robinson. So,
well, Messier has scored a number of shorthanded goals in his career, and so has Wayne Gretzky.
There's Glenn Sather. He's got the horses. He's just trying to get the horses going. Well, time is now the biggest factor and the biggest enemy of Team Canada. Play underway. Naslund at center ice. He fades back now. How will Sweden play this this power play? Naslund over the line now. Had trouble handling it as he hit the line. Now clears it behind the net. Peters out of the net. Flips it up against the glass. And it's Bourne digging it out, but he only got a couple of steps out to center ice. Now it's cleared ahead by Robinson. Now the other penalized players, Gartner and Anderson, are back on the ice, but Canada is still a man short now as Naslund works down to the line. Naslund finds some skating room, goes in, and he's hooked from behind by Wilson. Puck rolls to the goal mouth, and it's held there by Peters. And I'll tell you, Wilson could have got a penalty there.
He could have. Naslund there, with all his speed, burst of speed got around him. He was pulled down. I might even pick Naslund for player of the game for Team Sweden. He's played very well defensively, and he's played well offensively. Here it is here.
I'd say that's a pretty good hook.
Well, at this point in the hockey game, when Canada already has a guy in the box, maybe the referee thought they'd give him a break.
Well, the face-off will be to the right of Pete Peters. Right now, Canada's got to think tie. They've already tied the United States, in danger right here of losing to Sweden. With games against Czechoslovakia and the Soviet Union coming up. It isn't going to get easier. Sundstrom from the face-off to the goal mouth. Bork clears it off the boards. Messier at center ice with Gretzky. Messier's over the line now. Messier cutting to the net. The shot. Good shot, too. Right on. Lindmark kicked it into the corner. Messier now. And Canada is thinking offense, although they're a man short. Now in against the boards. Sundstrom's in there along with Gretzky. Jam against the boards. Gretzky can't hold it there as he's double-teamed. Swinging back is Telbane. There's the side of the net. Now Messier goes in as well. Sweden starts to break out now as Sundstrom carries it to center ice. Sundstrom to the line. Sundstrom. Drop pass. Sundstrom spinning away from the check of Messier. Out to the blue line now. Tallinn. His shot is wide, and it's Lowe picks it up. 40 seconds remaining in the power play. In against the boards now. It's cleared to the blue line. Not out. Deline keeps it in. Along the boards for Sundstrom. Patrick Sundstrom kicking it behind the net. Rudin's back there. He's checked. Bork hoists it up against the glass, and it cleared the glass. Winds up in the crowd with 26 seconds left in the power play.
I noticed tonight Wayne Gretzky has been taking a little shorter shifts than he normally does throughout the season. That might have something to do with the flu bug he had, or maybe it's that time of the year, the conditioning. They've only been on skates for three and a half weeks. That might have an effect, especially when you're playing every other night and you're traveling long distances between hockey games.
Well, immediately following the game here, Canada moves on to Calgary. They'll arrive into Calgary about 2 o'clock in the morning, Mountain Time. 26 seconds remaining in the power play. And then Canada will have to pull out the stops. The puck is cleared down the ice now. 20 seconds remaining. Back there to get it is Deline. Along the boards, Coffey. Coffey is kicking it along the boards along with Gustafsson. Now inside his own zone. It's Bourne out to center ice now. Cleared in by Bork. Knocked back out near the line by Naslund. We use Naslund a lot, especially in these short-handed situations. Naslund's got the puck now. Plays for the Montreal Canadiens. Clears it in. Bork back deep in his own zone. The penalty is over. Canada now will look to Pete Peters. Will they pull him out or not? 1:35 left. Bossy to the far side now. It's out to center ice. Tapped ahead. Coffey couldn't hold it. It bounces back now to Bork. Bork rink wide for Gretzky. Gretzky feathers a pass to Coffey. Tried to get it to Bossy, and it's deflected back out to center ice again. Sundstrom, 1:17 remaining. Gets it to Bossy. Bossy falls down. Wilson over the line. And it is shot wide of the net. In against the boards now. Robinson moves in, still loose inside the zone. Sweden with Sundstrom bringing it out to center ice. Messier's knocked down. No penalty. It sets up a 2-on-1. The shot is wide. Robinson at the side of the net. Wilson and Gradin. They roll it in front. 49 seconds left as Wilson goes down. The puck is underneath him, and we'll have a face-off deep in the Team Canada zone.
Just a great individual effort by Patrick Sundstrom to go around Team Canada defenseman. He throws a pass over to his guy. It's bouncing and rolling a little bit, and it's shot wide, but an excellent effort. This line has been very, very effective for the Swedes tonight.
There's Peter Sundstrom. He's the one half of the twin brothers, the one that plays for the New York Rangers. Played 42 games, or at least played 77 games with the Rangers, had 22 goals, 22 assists last year, and now Pete Peters comes out near the bench, and we've got a timeout called with 49 seconds remaining.
If Team Canada gets the puck into the Swedish end, I think they should be looking at maybe taking a face-off. That's one of the strong areas of our hockey game. We got guys like Messier out there who can win them consistently. Have a guy like Wilson setting up for the shot rather than wasting time along the boards trying to set up the perfect play. Maybe take a face-off and see if we can get that shot from the draw.
Well, Glenn Sather is telling him exactly what he wants him to do. Meeting at the Swedish bench. And there's the great one. And Peters skating back towards the net. So who will we have out here for this final 49 seconds? We'll have Messier and Gartner and Robinson and Coffey and Gretzky. And Canada. Let's see who they'll use Messier to take the draw against Gustafsson. They have faced each other a few times before. The National Hockey League. Gustafsson with the Washington Capitals. From the faceoff, it's back to the blue line. Eriksson shot well wide of the net, and Gretzky picks it up along the board. He flips it out to center ice. We're watching Peters. He's still in the net. It's cleared back in again. Peters steps out, leaves it behind the net, and Coffey's got it. Coffey, he mishandled it in there, and it's cleared back deep again for Bork. Coffey, clearing it ahead now. Peters edging out of the net. The pass is for Gartner. Breaks in and is hooked away from him, and it's cleared off the boards. And Peters was unable to get out of the net, and then alertly left it at the side. They score. Well, Peters, I said, alertly left it and didn't touch the puck. And then suddenly, with a great deal of hustle, the Swedish forward got in there and put it into the empty net.
Peter had the right idea. He wanted to be called an icing so Canada would get a face-off in the other end. The Team Canada defenseman, I don't know who it was a little lax at getting back. Pete got in his way. A good play by the Swedish forward to jump right on that puck.
Well, here's a look at it. And that was Sundstrom, Peter Sundstrom getting in there. That reminds me so much of that goal that was scored with a second left in the 1980 Olympics by Mark Johnson against Vladislav Tretiak.
Important goal at that time of the game, it sure was. But
at 19:45.
only 15 seconds left. Team
4-2.
Team Canada better be ready on Saturday night against Czechoslovakia.
Boy, back to the wall time. It has been really a lesson here tonight, and a lesson to us. Not that Canada is forbidden to lose a hockey game, but that the Sweden can play so well. They have just played an outstanding game.
They certainly have.
So with 15 seconds left, 4-2. And with this, Canada will have a total of 3 points. Will be in third place in the standings. Sweden in fourth place with 2 points. This will be their first win. Cleared into Sutter. Sutter in over the line. Now there's Tonelli's shot. That's off a leg. And that's it. The hockey game is over. And Sweden has pulled a monumental upset over Team Canada. You have to look back to World Championship play, and Canada, even in the World Championships, has only lost 4 times to Sweden over the years. And here in the Canada Cup, Sweden has pulled off a big one. 4-2, the final score, Sweden over Canada, and it's going to get very tough from here on out. This is Labatt's Canada Cup on CTV.
Sweden goes to number 25, Peter Lindmark, goaltender. He will receive a Canon T70 camera. Presenting the Labatt's Player of the Game Award for Team Canada goes to Mike Bossy, number 22. The Labatt's Player of the Game Award will receive, Mike Bossy will receive an Eskimo carving provided through the courtesy of Esso.
Well, there is the Labatt's Player of the Game, Mike Bossy, who receives an Eskimo carving courtesy of Esso. Peter Lindmark receives the Canon T70 camera as the Player of the Game for Sweden. The final score